What up, YouTube? D4G here, banging out another video. Hey, today I'm bringing y'all 7 designer fragrances that cut through the cold. Out here in Texas, it's just now starting to get a little chilly to where it's like 50, 40 degrees. And these 7 fragrances are ones that do real good in extremely cold temperatures. They have the performance factor that you're looking for. They have the sillage factor that you're looking for. And they have the overall scent profile as far as smell that you will want. These are 7 that you can use in different situations. But y'all know what it is, man. We're going to talk about that in a second. Roll my shit. Let's get started. YouTube, D4G here. Hey, so gotta give a shout out to all my new subscribers before we get started. If you're new, welcome. Over here on this side of YouTube, we talk about FFL, football, fragrance, lifestyle. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, as well as the bell notification so that you can be updated anytime we drop this content. And to all my OG subscribers out there, salute, fam. Hope everything is good with you. 7 designer fragrances that cut through the cold. I'm not even gonna hold y'all around. Let's go ahead and get started. Starting off with the first fragrance on the list, coming from the house of Carolina Herrera, house of Bad Boy. We are talking about Bad Boy Le Parfum. Cannabis, grapefruit, black pepper, and a little bit of leather. It's most of what you pick up in this. Now this is not a scent. Boy, this bitch, right? This is not a scent that you want to use for all situations. This isn't one that you can use for work because that cannabis note, as pleasant as it is to my nose, is not going to be the best for office safe settings. But if you're looking for something for a great date night fragrance, something that'll be good for those bad boy situations you might have on a leather coat, out with the fellas, that's where this one comes into play at. I have a lot of fun with this fragrance. And the biggest thing for me is that cannabis with the grapefruit opening, followed by the nice leather dry down. Beautiful fragrance. That leather note mixed with the cannabis helps push through the cold like no other. Hey, gotta start the list off right. Might as well go with Bad Boy Le Parfum. Now the second fragrance on the list is coming from the house of Armani Code, Giorgio Armani. And this one doesn't talk about as much as the others. This is a flanker. But to me, this flanker deserves a lot more praise than what it gets. And I'm talking about Armani Code Absolute Gold. Mandarin orange, iris, saffron, and a little bit of tonka bean you pick up. I say this all the time. Y'all know I'm not the biggest fan of iris fragrances. But this one is pleasant. I can rock with this one heavy, man. And iris isn't overpowering in a way. It's not overbearing of an iris note. It actually comes out very nice with the iris. And then it also has like a clean freshness to it as well. You do pick up a little bit of spiciness from the saffron. So you do pick that up initially in the opening, but it's so heavy in the iris and the citrus that mixes in there that you really don't, you can sense the saffron, but it's not a main player in this fragrance. But it does add a nice spiciness mix going with the iris and the citruses as well. Nice pickup. You can still pick up 100 ml for less than $100. I think I found this one for like 70 bucks, 69, 70 bucks, somewhere around there online. But hey, still a nice one. Don't sleep on this one, which a lot of people have already. But we're talking about Absolute Gold. Now the next fragrance is going to be a flanker from the house of Victor and Rolf. We're talking about Spice Bomb. And this one is another one that just doesn't get as much love as Extreme or even the original. And I definitely think that this one should be on people's list a lot more than what it is. Spice Bomb Infrared, the red fragrance of the collection, I guess you could say. Red fruits, pink pepper, red pepper, and a little bit of tobacco is what you get. This cuts through the cold like crazy. Real big on those spices, real big on red in general. So if you're not a big fan of like red fruits, red spices, red pepper, things along that line, I would say stick away from this one. But if you can get with a nice soft fruit but high in pepper smell with a little bit of tobacco in the dry down, this one is a banger. Doesn't have the same performance as Extreme, but it still has a good performance within itself. 8 to 9 hours easily with a great projection. And when you have this on in the cold weathers, it just projects even more just from the spices. It's a banger. It's a banger. Red fruits, red spices, can't go wrong with it. You still get that Spice Bomb Extreme feel that you love, that pepper smell that you love as well. You just don't have as much vanilla in the dry down, but it is followed up with some tobacco, a banger fragrance for those who are looking for a spicy tobacco style fragrance. Go with Spice Bomb Infrared, man. This will still cut through the cold like you need it to. The next fragrance coming from the house of Dolce Gabbana. This is from the One line. And this one doesn't get as talked as much as the One EDP, but this can still be a great date night situation fragrance. And it still cuts through the cold like a beast. Dolce & Gabbana, the One Intense. Cardamom, neroli, clary sage, and a little bit of leather. A little bit of leather. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and say this now. Cardamom and neroli. Spicy with a little bit of sweet freshness. Man, this is nice, man. You get neroli throughout all phases of the fragrance. So if you're not that big of a neroli person, stay away from this because it has it in the top, mid, and the base as well. But then the clary sage makes it a little smooth, adds a nice smoothness to help towards the transition as it works into a mostly leather cardamom dominant fragrance. Now with the cardamom, you do have spices in here, but it's a soft spice. It really it's not as heavy in the spices as a Spice Bomb or something along those lines. It's a little bit more sweet feel, followed by some nice soft spices with a leather dry down. Banger fragrance. This is gonna be good for a lot of people in a lot of ranges. I would say mid-20s on up. You can pull this one off, and this will be good for a lot of situations. Date night, you can even wear this in the office. This is an office safe fragrance as well. And it has slightly better performance than Dolce & Gabbana, the One EDP. Now it isn't a beast mode fragrance, it's still not beast mode, but I normally get 6-7 hours with this, whereas with the One, it normally sticks around that 5-hour range. So not much better performing than the most popular one from the line, and to me, has a little bit more going on than the main player, which is the One EDP. Hey, Dolce & Gabbana, the One Intense. Not be afraid to pour this out in those super cold situations. Now the next fragrance, even though this is still a new pickup, I have to let y'all know right now, this bitch is a banger. And out of all the fragrances on the list, this one is one that's more unlimited in the seasons that you can wear this in. This one, I can't see myself wearing this in all 4 seasons, not just the cold, but in the cold is where I see it having the most impact as far as performance, sillage, and how it smells. Salvatore Ferragamo Intense Leather. Mandarin Orange, Clary Sage, Lily of the Valley, and a little bit of leather is what you pick up from this. Again, this is probably the most freshest scent on this list. Pressurized atomize one more time for the people that ain't see it. But man, this is a beautiful fragrance. Very nice, bright opening, very uplifting opening from the Mandarin Orange and the Clary Sage. But then you get leather throughout the whole fragrance. Opening, you can tell that this is going to transition into something that is going to be more leather dominant than citrus or aquatic or ozonic, nothing along those lines. This is a very nice citrus leather based fragrance. This one is becoming one of my favorite scents that I have, especially for just daily usage. You can throw this on easy, don't have to think too much about it. Grab and go. Nice fragrance, very clean, still office safe, even with it being leather dominant. Just dial back the sprays a little bit because this does have a lot more body than some of the other fragrances. This one is still overpowering, but it's great for the office setting. Just dial back the tones a little bit. Coming in at the number 5 spot, we went with Salvatore Ferragamo Intense Leather. Now y'all know me, man. Y'all know a list is not complete if I don't have one of my Paco Rabanne fellas in there. So it's only right that I added in one of the ones that I feel cut through the cold the best out of all of them, and adds a little bit of seduction in there as well. Coming from the house of Paco Rabanne, from the vibes of Pure Excess Night. Ginger, cacao, vanilla mixed with a little bit of caramel is what you pick up in this. Man, sweet, salty, very smooth date night, easy to go fragrance, man. If you like those sweeter style fragrances, still masculine, but it's mostly sweet than anything. That caramel mixed with the vanilla and cacao gives it like a nice sweet, almost like coffee chocolate mix, chocolatey vibe going there. Whereas the ginger just adds a little bit of spiciness in there. Great great fragrance for day or night. Best for the nighttime, but you can still get away with it during the day. And this is going to be one of those that date night situations, making a first impression with the lady friend. This will be one of those that you will want to pull out, especially if it's one of those intimate settings. you can't go wrong with this one during that cold, and this one will cut through the cold like all the other fragrances on the list, just with a little bit more of a sweet taste to it. Pure Excess Night. Now the last fragrance on the list is definitely going to be the most challenging on the list. Even for myself when I first got it, this fragrance was a challenge to understand as well as to pull off. But after you give it a few wears, you find its place with it, and then you start to appreciate the complexity of it, of a fragrance like this. We're talking about Moschino Toy Boy. Pear, rose, magnolia, flax, sandalwood, mixed with a little bit of amber. I can't help but to still think that initial thought when I first sprayed it. Every time I spray this, pressurized atomizer, gotta love it. Every time I spray this, the first thing that comes to my mind is a pickle smell. But shortly after that, I'm able to understand what all this fragrance has coming out. You got a little bit of pear in that initial opening. You also got some flax, as well as some magnolia. Now the rose does come out shortly after. The rose doesn't take long to make its way into the fragrance. Normally within the first 3 to 5 minutes, that's when you're gonna pick up that rose smell. And depending on who you are, that rose smell can be a little cloying to some people. It can come off as too much. But if you're able to work your way past that rose, it has a nice woody dry down mixed with a little bit of an amber feel going as well. It turns into a nice rose woody dry down. Not as popular as a saffron oud and rose combo, but a nice rose and woody dry down. That's probably to me the most surprising part of this fragrance, because the opening can take you sideways for a second, but once you get to the dry down of this fragrance, that's when it really becomes a player and a nice factor. This will be a great fragrance for cold situations. I wouldn't say date night, just because it might be a little bit more challenging of a fragrance for date night, and you still want to have that seduction factor in a date night fragrance. But any other time, just casual throughout the day, throwing on, just running around taking care of stuff, might be going out to the mall or something, Moschino Toy Boy, that's the one to go with right there. But that's gonna be my video right there, man. Let me know down in the comment section what y'all think of what 7 designers y'all would have that cut through the cold. There's a lot of them out there, but these are the ones that I feel that I have in my collection would be best for myself. And let's see if we can help somebody else out that's trying to define a nice designer fragrance that's great for extremely cold weather. But with all that being said, we about to get up out of here. I hope y'all have a great day. I hope y'all have a phenomenal day. Stay on your square, stay on your purpose. Don't let nobody take you off of it. G4G, truly blessed. That's the for greatness. We out.